Let's take a look at Google Docs starting out. So in order to use Google Docs, you have to first create a Google Drive account, which is not difficult. But assuming you've done that already, once you log in and go to your Drive, you'll see the new button here. We can create a new folder. In this case we're going to start a new Google Sheets. So I click on that, and here we have an untitled spreadsheet. So I'm going to make this into a grade sheet. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the title name. Here's giving me a little thing to dismiss. So I just click on the name here, and I can change it. Call it grade sheet. So here's a spreadsheet that I can use to track my students' grades. Alright, I'm going to put a bunch of names down here. Okay, so I just typed a bunch of names in here to save a little time. And then I'm going to put the different assignments that I'm going to have available up here. So go ahead and enter that data. Okay, so I entered that data and I now have all of my different assignments. And I'm going to start trying to format this so it looks nicer. And one thing I notice is that I've got a lot of white space and the data isn't very compacted, it's very spread out. I usually like to have data dense spreadsheets, so what I want to do is I want to have it so it says Lab 1 and then our line is here instead of way over here. So I'm going to move that line. There's different ways that I can move it. One way is to come up to the top of my column and to put my cursor in between the two columns and wait until the cursor changes to this arrow that's pointing two ways, left and right, and I can just squeeze it in. And if I squeeze it in too much, you'll see that my text actually disappears. So it's actually being overwritten by the next cell. So that's kind of a drag. What I want it to do is I want it to wrap. I want the text to say lab and then underneath it to say lab 1. It's not wrapping right now, but I'll worry about that later. So I've got to go to every single one of these columns and do this. But there is a shorter way of doing it, and that is that I could highlight all of the column tops. So if I click on C here and then drag all the way over to all my labs, then what I can do is I can right click and I can go to the choice of resizing my columns. So I've highlighted all of those columns, and now I've right clicked on the top there. I'm going to resize columns C through Q. Click on that. And so here's the default 31. I'm going to go much smaller. I'm going to try 10, see if that'll work. I could choose just to fit to data, but I actually want to make it so that the data doesn't fit and it's squished in. And boy, that really squished things in. So that's way too small. I want it to at least say lab, so I'm going to right click it again. Resize columns. Try 20. It's getting closer. Let's try 25. So let me see, resize columns, 25. Okay, that's very tight. That's good. I can see that some of them, like writing is one word. I can go ahead and just expand that. They don't have to. Oh no, since they're all highlighted, they all changed at once. Wow. I'm going to undo that. And to undo, you can hit Control Z. Then I'll try to unhighlight those and just try to change the one column, because that is actually two words. So I'll go ahead and leave it squished down. And I'll change my final exam so it's a little bit wider here. Okay, so now I want these to wrap instead of overlapping each other. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight them all. So I click on one, drag it over all of them. And now to get them to wrap, I'm going to go up here and go to Format, and then I'll look for text wrapping, and here it is. And I notice right now it's set on Overflow, which allows it to flow into the next column, but it's overlapped. I've got Clip, which cuts it, and then I've got Wrap, so I'll choose Wrap. Okay, so that automatically made things bigger. I can still see that it's not wrapping the way I want it to. I want it to wrap on the B or the space, but not on the the LA. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight these columns again. Right click it and resize columns. I'm at 25. Let's try 30. Okay, so 30 did work except for the midterm, so I'll make that. So I'll unselect those. Make the midterm a little bit bigger. Okay, that worked. Final exam needs to be bigger. Okay, so now I've got them very compact. And I'm going to change the size of the rows. So if I highlight the rows by going over here to the row column and just click on one and drag all the way down, I can highlight all of my rows. Right click in the gray area, and you'll see that I've got the choice to resize the rows through 16. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. It's at 21. I'll put it at 30. And that's going to spread it out a little bit more. And that's how we can change the row height. Actually, I think I'm going to undo that, Control Z, so it all fits on the page. Alright, so now I'm going to do a little bit of formatting. And what I'd like these to be centered. So I'm going to go and highlight all of these words. I want them to be centered instead of having them justified on left side. And I can do that by going up here. This is the horizontal alignment tool. Right now it's aligned to the left. I'll press the down button and choose center, and that puts it all center aligned. Okay, now I can go in and change this formatting. I'm going to make this a light blue, and I want them to change every different column. So this next one is going to be a darker blue, and then I'm going to have it go light blue, dark blue, and so on. So what I can do is, if I have one cell that I want to use as an example, I can highlight it and hit the Paint Format button. So if I hit that, then I can then go to the next cell, and that formats that next cell that same way. So I can just click that back and forth and go highlight all the cells in the same formatting that I would like them. I'll do it with the other color here. And that's how I can give my column row headers a little bit of different colors. Okay, now I'm going to make some hyperlinks. So suppose that I wanted to make it so that I could click on lab 1 and actually go to the lab and see what it is. Well, this would need to be a hyperlink. So if I click on a cell, I can right click it and I can choose to insert a link. So I'll go ahead and do that. And we have the text, which will stay the same. Then I can paste in a link. Here I'm going to my website, chicotechacademy.com. And this should say lab 1. Okay, so now it turns into a hyperlink. And now if that's hovered over, somebody then could click on the link, or I could change or remove it. And I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of these. So I'll pause the video. Okay, so now I have my hyperlinks done, and I can start formatting my total column. So I can have a column called total. And what the total is going to do is it's going to add up all the numbers that I put in these columns, these rows, and give me the total. So the best thing I can do here is to create a function called a sum function. And if you look up here, this is the sigma symbol. Sigma means function. And I can click on that, and sigma means sum. And I can click on the sum function here, and then it wants to know which, creates this little formula for me, equals. And it wants me to highlight the values that I want to go. So I'm going to go to my first box over here and just drag it all the way to the Q. That's all the boxes that I want to include in my sum. And I'll hit enter. So now my sum is 0. And if I look up here in my formula bar, I can see what is actually typed in there. Equals, sum, parentheses, C3 through Q3. I'm going to do the same thing for all of these different rows, but I can do this easier if I click on the cell. You can see I've got this little box down here in the lower right hand corner, and I can click on that and drag it all the way down, and it'll basically take my same formula and copy it. So now if I look at my formula bar, I can see that it's changing the rows that it's creating a sum for. Right, so that's it for this video. We'll take a look at video number 2 for more stuff.